Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, the beautiful story of the personality of Godhead, Canto 3, Chapter 24, Renunciation of Kardama Muni, Text number 45. Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena Labda Atma Mukta Bandhanaha Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Prena Bhakti Bhavena Labdatma Mukta Bandhanaha Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Prena Bhakti Bhavena Labdatma Mukta Bandhanaha Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Prena Bhakti Bhavena
Vasudeva Bhagavati
Vasudeva Bhagavati
Sarvagye Pratyagatmani
Sarvagye Pratyagatmani
Parena Bhakti Bhavena
Parena Bhakti Bhavena
Labdhatma Mukta Bandhanaha
Labhatma Mukta Bandhanaha
Vasudeva Bhagavati
Vasudeva Bhagavati
Sarvagye Pratyagatmani
Sarvagye Pratyagatmani
Parena Bhakti Bhavena
Parena Bhakti Bhavena
Labdhatma Mukta Bandhanaha
Labdhatma Mukta Bandhanaha Vasudeva Bhagavati Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena Parena Bhakti Bhavena Labdhatma Mukta Bandhana Vasudeva Bhagavati Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena Sarvagye Bhakti Bhavena Labdhatma Mukta Bandhana Vasudeva Bhagavati Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena Parena Bhakti Bhavena Labdhatma Mukta Bandhana Vasudeva Bhagavati Sarvagye Pratyagatmani Parena Bhakti Bhavena
Labdhatma Mukta Bandhanaha
वासुदेवे भगवती सर्वयज्ञे प्रत्यात्मनि परेण भक्तिभावेन लप्तात्मा मुक्तबन्धना
I'm sorry, devotees, I made a mistake. I'm a conditioned soul. Champavati Sutta did verse 42 yesterday, so today's verse is 43, not 45. I'm sorry. That's Mano Brahmani Yunjano Yatat Sadasa Tapadam Kana Vabase Viguna Ekapakyan Bhavate. Anyone else online?
Okay, ready online?
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Yatat Sat Asatah Param
Yat Sat Sat Asatah Param
Gunavabhashe Viguna
Guna Vabhase Guna Viguna
Eka Bhaktyanubhavite
Eka Bhaktyanubhavite
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Mano Brahmani Yunjana
Yatat Sad Asatah Param
Yat Sat Asatah Param
Guna Vabhase Viguna
Guna Vabhase Viguna
Eka Bhaktyanubhavite
Eka Bhaktyanubhavite
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Yatat Sat Adasat Param
Yatat Sat Asata Param
Navabhase Viguna
Guna Vabhase Viguna
Eka Bhaktyānubhavite.
Eka Bhaktyānubhavite
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Yatat Sarasata Param
Yatat Sat Asata Param
Gunavabhase Viguna
Guna Vabhase Viguna
Eka Bhaktyānubhavite
Eka Bhaktyānubhavite
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Mano Brahmani Yunjano
Yat Tat Sat Asatah Param
Yatat Sat Asata Param
Gunavabhase Viguna
Guna Vabhase Viguna
Eka Bhaktyānubhavite.
Eka Bhaktyānubhavite. Okay.
Te Manaha, mind, Brahmani, on the Supreme, Yunjanaha, fixing, Yat, which, Tat, that, Sat, Asata, cause and effect, Param, beyond, Guna, Avabhase, who manifests the three modes of material nature, Vigune, who is beyond the material modes, Ekta Bhaktya, by exclusive devotion, Anubhavate, who is perceived. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Maitreya Rishi speaking, and he's referring to Kardama Muni. He says, he fixed his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman, who is beyond cause and effect, who manifests the three modes of material nature, who is beyond those three modes, and who is perceived only through unfailing devotional service. Report. Wherever there is bhakti, there must be three things present: the devotee, the devotion, and the Lord. Without these three, bhakti, and Bhagavan, there is no meaning to the word bhakti. Kardama Muni fixed his mind on the Supreme Brahman, and realized him through bhakti or devotional service. This indicates that he fixed his mind on the personal feature of the Lord, because bhakti cannot be executed unless one has realization of the personal feature of the absolute truth. Guna Vabhase, he is beyond the three modes of material nature, but it is due to him that the three modes of material nature are manifested. In other words, although the material energy is an emanation of the Supreme Lord, he is not affected, as we are, by the modes of material nature. We are conditioned souls, but he is not affected, although the material nature has emanated from him. He is the supreme living entity and is never affected by Maya, but we are subordinate, minute living entities by the limitation of Maya. Contact with the Lord by devotional service. Conditioned living entity also from the affection. This is confirmed in Sagana Samatityaitan. A person engaged in Krishna consciousness is at once liberated from the influence of the three modes of material nature. In other words, once the conditioned soul engages himself in devotional service, he also becomes liberated like the Lord. Jai Sri Sri Gaura. Dhanvar Maharaj, I'd like to hear your instruction concerning Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Gyana Timrandasya Gyana Gina Slakaya Chaksha Umalitam Yena Tasmaya Sri Gurve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer special obeisances unto him. So there's no limit to the fortune of Krsna Muni, because imagine the Supreme Personality of Godhead, very own beloved Son. So no need for him to but to set the example for all of you, for all went to the forest, and he became self-realized by meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the mind can be our friend or our enemy. And it's a nice poem where Govinda prays to his mind. He's praying to his mind to just fix yourself at the lotus feet of the son of Nanda. By fixing one's mind on the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, one could become liberated from the three modes of material nature. So everyone is trying for liberation in the material world. There's black liberation, women's liberation. This year, the Americans are celebrating their liberation from the British, which happened 250 years ago. So everyone's trying to be liberated from oppression. Everyone wants to be free, but that the Almighty Lord. So real liberation comes from Vishnu or Krishna. And Lord Shiva told his wife, Parvati, that I cannot give liberation. Only Vishnu or Krishna can give liberation. And higher than the worship of Vishnu is the worship of that which belongs to Vishnu, or who is servant of Vishnu. That's even higher and more profitable. So by engaging in the service of Krishna under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, one can attain liberation. And Srila Prabhupada has given us detailed knowledge of Vishnu. And by understanding Krishna, it's not possible to understand Krishna fully, but by trying to understand Krishna, how Krishna is free from the modes of material nature, how his appearance is transcendental, how his activities are transcendental to this material world, one can attain the abode of Krishna, which is the highest perfection of life. The atheists foolishly declare that there's no proof that anyone has seen God. But this is an ignorant statement. Everyone has seen God. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I'm the light of the sun. I'm the light of the moon. I'm the taste of water. We're eternally indebted to Sri Dhanavir Goswami for establishing this place of pilgrimage in the state of Missouri, where all the people of Kansas City can come and see God every day. We're seeing God in this most beautiful, this most compassionate form of Krishna and Balaram, in the form of Gauranga and Nityananda. We're seeing God in the form of a book, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is God in book form. In one sense, God is everything. You're now sitting on the floor. This floor is Krishna. So you are sitting on Krishna. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, all beings are in me, but I am not in them. And one who sees me in all beings and sees every being in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. So one who knows God knows that all living entities, all living beings belong to God. They're part and parcel of God. Even the lower living entities and the trees and plants, they're all part and parcels of God. And they're eternally servants of God, but due to their karma, they've forgotten God through the present body. But in the human form of life, we have a chance to remember God. So every one of us should take advantage of this human form of life and fix our minds at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in another place in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, second chapter, text 11, Sutta Goswami states, Vedante tat tattva vidas tattvat yajganam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan eti shabdyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth realize the absolute truth in three features, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So in the absolute truth, there's no difference between subject and object. The absolute truth is both subject and object. And there is no qualitative difference between them. The students of the Upanishads realize the absolute truth as Brahmajyoti or Brahman. And the Hiranyagarbhas or the yogis realize the absolute truth as Paramatma, who is a partial representation of the personality of Godhead. But the devotees, the bhaktas, realize the absolute truth as Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead. And they understand that Bhagavan accepts whatever they offer in devotion and love. So to have a relationship in devotion and love, it must be a person. It cannot be infinite. It must be some localized form. So the Absolute Truth has form. And his form is not like our present material form. His form is Satchidananda. And the students of the Absolute Truth, they sometimes they argue that their realization is the ultimate realization of the Absolute Truth, because the Absolute Truth is viewed from different angles of perception. Some view the Absolute Truth as Brahmajyoti, some view the Absolute Truth as Paramatma, but the devotees view the Absolute Truth as Bhagavan or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there's no difference in quality between these different features of the Absolute Truth. In the Absolute Truth, the knower and the known are one. And in the Absolute Truth, there's not the illusion of relativity that we see in this material world. So, yes, Dandavir Maharaj.
Yeah. The words sat asat, cause and effect, param. So Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, is beyond the cause and effect of the material world. This is also stated in the Bhagavatam, 4 seed verses, Brahma, or Vishnu saying to Brahma that he exists before there was the universe or the creation. He exists during the creation, and when the creation is all wound up, is all abolished or not unmanifest, he still exists. So that means he's beyond the cause and effect. He's the source. Lord Brahma says that Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Raja Govinda Sarvakarna Karnam. He's the cause of all causes, the Supreme Being. And Bhagavatam begins with Janmajasya Taha. The source of everything is Krishna. Krishna is the source of Vishnu, and Vishnu is the source of Narayan, and there's so many incarnations. And then there's other expansions, such as the living entities, Tasta Shakti, and then there's Jiva Shakti. So there's so many different emanations, but everything starts with one, Krishna. Now, the ordinary person will have a hard time accepting it, because he says, well, look at the sky. I look in the sky, it's vast. There's planets there, huge things going around. How can a little one boy be the source of all that? It seems backwards. You'd think that the sky and everything in the universe would be first, and then, like they say nowadays, there was an explosion, and all these little people came out of the explosion, and that's how life came about. That's much as we get from science now. But in the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, we find out that it's not that way. The little person, so-called little person, He can also expand himself into being a very large person if he wishes. He has his Mahavishnu form, which describes that the universes are emanating from the pores of his body by the thousands of millions. So one universe comes out of one pore of his breathing, exhalation. So there's big forms of God too. He can come in big form, he can he can be smaller than the smallest or greater than the greatest. But everyone should understand what we're talking about when we're talking about God. People say God is great, but they don't know how great. And therefore they don't believe he's really a person. You ask him, you say God is great. Well, what's great about him? Tell us what's so great about him. That's good. If they can say something, that's nice. But the Bhagavatam and the Vedas go on for thousands and thousands of years. In fact, Lord Shesha, he's going on reciting the glories of the Lord since time immemorial, and he never gets tired or never runs out of things to say about the glories of the Lord. Thank you.
Krishna is the source of everything, and a material father and mother are the source of their children. But the bodies of the material father and mother change over time. But Krishna never changes his transcendental body. His body is eternally youthful and eternally opulent. And similarly, the Chintamani, the touchstone, it can transform unlimited quantities of iron into gold, but the touchstone remains the same. The touchstone is never degraded. And similarly, Krishna is never degraded. He's always in the transcendental position. And he's eternally master, and we are eternally his servants. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that he is perceived only through unfailing devotional service. This is a very important concept. And in the history of the United States, there was a plantation owner in the 19th centuries in the antebellum South. There's a plantation owner in Natchez, Mississippi, and he had a big plantation, over 1,000 acres, and he had one slave who was very expert. The slave was devoted to the master, and he became expert in all kinds of service on the plantation. And he was an expert bookkeeper. He was an expert accountant. And when the master of the plantation passed away, they opened his will, and they found out that the master left 90% of his millions of dollars and the ownership of the plantation to the slave. And he specified in the will that after his death, his slave would be freed, and the slave's children would also be freed. And he left his wife 1% of his fortune, and he left each of his children only 1% of his fortune, because the master was expert in managing the plantation, and the slave was expert in his service to the master. And the slave was also devoted to the master. So in the same way, if we become devoted to the Supreme Master, Krishna, there's a chance of being liberated from the stringent laws of material nature. Any comments or questions? Okay, text 44. Nirahang Kartatir Nirmanascha Nirvanva Samadrik Sadrik Pratyak Prashanta Dira Prasanto Mir Evo Tadahi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Thus he gradually became unaffected by the false ego of material identity and became free from material affection. Undisturbed, equal to everyone, and without duality, he could indeed see himself also. Excuse me. His mind was turned inward and was perfectly calm, like an ocean unagitated by waves. Purport. When one's mind is in full Krishna consciousness and one fully engages in rendering devotional service to the Lord, he becomes just like an ocean, unagitated by waves. This very example is also cited in Bhagavad Gita. One should become like the ocean. The ocean is filled by many thousands of rivers, and millions of tons of its water evaporates into clouds. Yet the ocean is the same unagitated ocean. The laws of nature may work, but if one is fixed in devotional service at the lotus feet of the Lord, he is not agitated, for he is introspective. He does not look outside to material nature, but he looks into the spiritual nature of his existence. With a sober mind, he simply engages in the service of the Lord. Thus he realizes his own self without false identification with matter and without affection for material possessions. Such a great devotee is never in trouble with others because he sees everyone from the platform of spiritual understanding. He sees himself and others in the right perspective. So this is an important verse. If one sees the sun god, he automatically sees the sun globe and he sees the sunshine also. And when he was on a lower platform, like in our present state, we cannot see the sun god, but we can see the sun. And if we see the sun, we automatically see the sunshine. So if we could see Paramatma, we could also automatically understand what is Brahman. But if one realizes Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, he realizes everything. And it said that one who has a spiritual master, he's supposed to know everything. Yes, Jagannath Prabhu. Yes.
So you were talking about how so you were saying that basically the servant of the master should always serve the master, right? But in Krishna consciousness, we're trying to better ourselves as well. We're not trying to like lord it over other people. But I feel like I feel in my bones that I'm trying my best to better myself, but it seems like I'm the only one doing it, and I feel kind of it seems like my masters aren't really trying to better themselves, and it's bewildering. So why I feel like I'm fault finding, but like I just don't know any other way. It's just how I was brought up. So I always fault find, but I don't see any evidence that somebody is working on trying to be better. And I don't know where the question is in this, but could you help me figure out what I'm thinking? Could you help me, my troubled mind?
Yes. Just try to please your spiritual master by trying to develop love of Krishna. Everyone here is on different stages. Sometimes materially, the the servant might be more spiritually advanced like the master. Like in the beginning, Ramanuja's spiritual master was on a lower platform than him. And later on, that spiritual master became devoted to Ramanuja. So it's possible that a disciple might be more advanced than the spiritual master. Like it's possible that Vidura is more advanced than Maitreya, although one was taking instruction from the other. So we can't judge by one's material qualifications. Some person might be charismatic and he might have many admirers and followers. And if such person joins the Krishna consciousness movement, he attracts many followers, just like Vishnu John Maharaj. He's a talented person. He was tall and handsome, and he was a great singer, kirtan leader. And before he joined the movement, he was a professional singer for a rock and roll band. And so when he joined the movement, he attracted many devotees. Many followers. He was like a Pied Piper when he would chant in the streets. He would chant and dance and play the mridanga. And in apparent ecstasy, he was swooning and swaying to and fro, and everybody was attracted to his music and to his singing and to his devotion to Krishna. Yes.
Well, we can see that.
Almost ready, Mark. 1 second. Almost ready. All right, now we're ready.
We can evaluate ourselves. We're struggling in our devotional service to get up in the morning, chant around, and be humble and not find faults. But why not consider the others must be doing that too? If they're here, at least you can consider that the other devotees are trying too. So they're trying to better themselves. And that's going on all over the world, all over the universe, all over the material world and the spiritual world. The spiritual world, 3/4 of the living entities are there, and they're not only better than themselves, they're on a practically equal level with Vishnu or God, because to be able to serve the Lord in such an intimate way means you have to be on that level. You can't expect to have a good servant if he's not. He can't be on the level of the master unless he's a great servant. Then the master awards him with all of his qualities. So at least you can analyze it that way. That they're also trying. For example, if I do something and I don't do it very well on a particular day or something, I forget to do something. So I can think, wow, I was thinking I was the only one trying to better myself, and today I forgot to do that. But so many others, they didn't forget to do their duties, so they must be trying at least to better themselves. And also, as you said, we have to be careful of the fault-finding tendency. We all have it. Not that only you have it. Everyone has it in the material world. So we have to be careful of it. And when we see it, it's like if we see some dirt in the room, in the corner, we go and clean it up. So similarly, when we see some dirt in our consciousness and our way of thinking, then we clean it up. And then you won't be thinking that I'm the only one that's trying to better themselves. And I'll see everyone's trying to better themselves in the Krishna consciousness movement. Thank you.
It's time for the Sankirtan festival.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ite Namane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Sunyavari Pasatashti Satarane Saraswati Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Sunyavari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
For the pleasure of Shri Shri Gaura Tai, Lord Nrsimhadev, Tulsi Maharani, Prahlad Maharaj, all the Vaishnava Acharyas, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Dandavir Goswami, and all the assembled devotees will announce the scores for this week. So this week we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 book distributors. Haribol! In 7th position with 1 big book for 1 point, Gyanavan Das. Haribol! In 6th position, 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd position, we have a team score of 3 magazines, 2 medium books, 10 small books, including 3 Arabic smalls, 4 big books, and 4 Maha big books, for a total of 23.55 book points. We have Sarvamangala Devi Dasi, Radhastali Dasi, Devi Dasi, Aishwarya Mataji, or Bhaktin Aishwarya, and Bhaktin Sarah. Haribo! And in 2nd position with 3 magazines, 12 small, 4 medium, 5 big, and 4 Maha big books for a total of 27.3 points, Magadari Das. And in 1st position with 5 magazines, 9 small, 8 medium, 9 big, and 8 Maha big books for a total of 32.25 points, Jagannath Das. Haribol! Okay.
So my highlight was the Saturday morning Harinam. We went out to City Market, and it was getting. We had been having a good day out for the whole morning, and towards the end of the Harinam, there was a group of people who got off the streetcar and started walking towards the City Market, and I saw this one guy. No, this guy saw me, and he started dancing to the music, and he started like, he liked it. He liked the music. So, I said, I don't remember what I said to him, but he out of nowhere, he just goes, "I got Cash App." And I was like, no way, this guy knows exactly what I'm thinking. And So I was like, oh, really? And he said, yeah, I got Cash App. I was like, well, you should take these books. Give us $15. And he was so ecstatic. He was so nice. And he also he participated with the Harinam. He actually said in his own words, he said, I want to participate. So Magadhara Prabhu gave him a little pamphlet, a little card that has the Hare Krishna mantra on the back of the card. And I think he started playing some shakers too. It was really ecstatic, really fun. And then everybody was just having a bunch of fun. It was a good time. Thank you, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. This week, Jagannath Prabhu was able to some bhakta stacks, and those were immediately reciprocated with. Shri Gaura Nitai sent a lot of people to us, and they were happy to take the stacks and give a full donation. So we went to Loose Park, and we went to the plaza, and we also went to the river market. So a few places. And when I went down to the Loose Park, then we set up a table, and that made it a little bit convenient for us and it seemed to make people look more comfortable, and especially made them more comfortable with the transactional nature that that ends up coming up at a certain point in book distribution where we're supposed to have an exchange. So the table makes that a little bit more, made that seemed like it was easier for them to give the donation at that time. So we were doing Harinam. I told the story a little earlier, and Lankar Prabhu came, and he was chit-chatting with some people and getting them to connect with the Harinam party. We started a kirtan with them, and some people that were walking by, we called them over. They joined also, and this one gentleman named Satvik, he actually agreed to take a stack from us, and Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Okay. We have the Mataji team, and I can show a few photos of their distribution on the screen, and then we can see if anyone would like to give a highlight for them. So let's see here. Sankirtan, and here we have some of their distribution. So these are some gentlemen that received the books, and here are the Matajis who have distributed to some of the public. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Okay, and then we can go to Gyanavan Prabhu. He's online. He can tell us about it.
Hare Krishna.
All right, we're ready.
Further this week, Danavir Goswami and I were driving in front of a friend and getting gas. We met a nice gentleman. He was a truck driver. He delivered fruits, and he saw that we were monks, and he got excited. He asked if I could climb a pole, and I told him I'm not that kind of monk, but I have a book for you. And he took the book very happily. He gave us a bunch of fruit, that we could offer to Sri Sri Gornatai, and he gave us a couple dollars as well. Transcendental Book Distribution Key, Josh.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.